life Cape, but also within that 1 year he lost nearly every member of his family. His mother, brother and father passed away. It was right in the middle of the First World War. If you can imagine what the world was like back then, particularly this part of the world, where Gustav was living, village of Kindred, northern Tasmania, was a farming village. So far removed from what was happening in Europe, the Great War, and what was happening locally at decision-making centres like Sydney and Canberra. It may as well have been on the moon. It was so remote. But because Gustav had an Austrian accent, the people in the village, despite the fact that they had known him well over 10 years living in the community, came to the conclusion, he sounds German, therefore he must be a spy. And they treated him appallingly. The one time you expect the community gather around him, support him while he's losing his family, they ostracize him. And they treated him appallingly. And he did what I think what any rational person would have done in this situation. He retreated up here. But some people followed him. They came to stay, and they went home and they told stories about his incredible hospitality. The fact of the matter was, there was nothing he wouldn't do for his guests. In fact, the panel on the other side of the wall here is a recollection from Bill Perkins, who told the story in 1982. He said he was up here in 1930. He was 19 years old. He climbs Cradle Mountain summit. At the end of the day, they come off the mountain. He and his friend Wollstonecraft, greeted here by Gustav. Gustav takes them inside and prepares this amazing meal: garlic and badger stew, wombat stew. Different era back. Away from that panel. Otherwise we'll have words. There won't be crude words either. Nice to meet you. Come on, let's go. Yeah. Come in. Great. All right, let me introduce you to the gang. So, there they are. So come around so you can see. So far left, right around here, okay, little guy in the black vest. So come around and have a look. That's Bob Quayle now. Bob Quayle ran a carrot. Stand next to me. Yeah. And I'll get you stand over here. Over here. Chocolate cup or purple berry. There's pink flowers coming out at the moment. Look really closely over here, you'll see there are growth rings here that are less than a third of a millimeter apart. My estimation, the age of this tree is several hundred years old when it was felled in a storm. Okay, parks have come with a chainsaw, trimmed the stump right here and used a hand plane to plane it smooth. And if you came here on the driest day in summer and put your hand right here, it feels like silk. Why don't you try it?
Oh, oh yeah.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, it's really interesting.
Just watch out for the holes in the slats there. I won't go any further, that's it. Because I need you to be able to see what's behind me. So you need to be able to see behind me.
That's it.
And so, okay, so what I want you to focus on, just be careful of those holes there. You don't fall in. These magnificent trees through here, these are king billy pines. These are magnificent. And while you're admiring these trees, I'd like you to contemplate what we're walking through as an evolutionary time capsule. We know this forest composition has been around for at least 45 million years, but the reality is many multiples of that time period. And we know it was on. We know that because it's in the fossil record, and it was all over Antarctica, 95% of Australia. 45 million years ago, when the two continents finally split apart, and as a result of tectonic plate motion, the Australian landmass moved further north and entered warmer and drier climate, and fire into the plant ecology, wiped out this type of forest in the Australian mainland, and was replaced by what we call pyrophilic or fire-loving plant communities that usually, not always, eucalyptus based. This type of forest has managed to hold on in tiny pockets in Tasmania where over millions of years the climate's been relatively stable. And as we know, around the world our climate's been changing recently very, very rapidly. And how that's played out here, king billy pines in particular, over the last few decades, we've noticed about 5 to 10% of their foliage into summer goes yellow and brown and falls to the forest floor. They now believe this is heat stress. Trees can't cope with the rising temperature. So they now believe within my lifetime, many of the species that live here may actually become extinct. And how sobering that thought is, we've still got it today. Still so worthy investigation, study, and ongoing protection. And on our way through this forest, I'll continue to point out things that I find remarkable. The first one is just around this next bend. It's going to be the third stump. You'll see it today, right? So this one, I strongly suspect that it's never been confirmed. One of the trees that Gustav cut down to build Waldheim. Okay, and the stump's still there. You see it just around this thing. Once and for all, they've got rocks on here. Given come that conclusion already, this will do it. And it's not the king billy pines on top of the do. Okay, I always get excited when I see that, even though it doesn't have any leaves. It's the floral emblem for Tasmania. It's the only tree native to all of Australia which will lose its leaves prior to winter. And so we call it deciduous beech or fagus. You know the name fagus? Yeah. Okay. So if you're here in April, in fact, this last April, this entire as you can see, this is where Gustav is buried. Gustav passed away on the 5th of May 1932. In the years prior to his death, in his diary, he writes about some of the symptoms of heart disease he's experiencing, like dizzy spells, the need to rest frequently, and heart palpitations. Also, the last year of his life, he bought himself a motorbike. And if you're familiar with all bikes, you may have heard of a bike known as the Indian.
Yep.
Temperamental bike, easy to stall, difficult.
Everyone got a photo? Alright, I'll continue on.